Hello, hello my lovelies. Hi, it's Emmy. Welcome back to another little gadget test. If you've missed my vintage kitchen gadget test, I shall put the link up here and down below. But today I'll be testing gadgets that I found at Daiso. Daiso originated in Japan and it is a 100 yen shop. So a 100 yen shop is basically the equivalent of a dollar store here in the US. Everything in the store is 100 yen. I actually have a really old video back when I was living in Japan of 100 yen shops. So if you want to see that, I should put the links here as well. So since I've left Japan, Daiso has found itself all over the world, including the US, but everything is not $1, everything is $2.50. So the last time I went to visit my family down in LA, I stopped in one and picked up a bunch of things that I thought might be interesting to test. If you like these kind of kitchen gadget tests, be sure to like this video so I know it and I can do more. All right, let's begin. So the first item I have are these. Any idea what these might be for? These are rubber gloves that are pink and orange and very nubbly. These are peeler gloves. And as you can see in the packaging, it says peeler glove because one glove was contained in here. I suppose you could get away by just wearing one glove, but I went ahead and bought both, the right and the left. The concept of this is supposed to be able to peel your vegetables by just wearing these gloves. I guess this works as a descaler as well. Some sort of nubbly material that has been dipped in this plastic coating. It almost looks like plasti dip. Wow, and it really is off-gassing some pretty terrible smelling vinyl fumes, but yeah, this is Daiso after all. Let's try a russet potato. All right, so we'll dampen our potato first and start scrubbing. Oh, well, you gotta use a lot of effort and it's not peeling it that well. I think this would probably work really well with new potatoes. You know, the potatoes that have a really thin skin, not really doing much of anything except wearing me out. If I use my thumb here, which I can get the most kind of force, it is scraping it down to the flesh, but I think I'd already be done if I was using a vegetable peeler. Let's try it with a red potato. So it is working a little bit better on the red potato. If you take the potato and you rub it against the palm of your other hand, it seems to work pretty well. This is very efficient in terms of not having a lot of waste. Try a Yukon Gold potato, and that's not doing a very good job at all. Let's try a carrot. It's getting the skin off, but I have to say I'm not sure that this is necessarily an improvement. So now I have some really dirty gloves. Yeah, these gloves actually clean up a lot better than I thought they would. All right, so that was peeler gloves. They worked passably well. Would I actually use them? Probably not. So while we still have our potatoes out, let's try the next product. And it does this. Any idea what this might be? Ding. If I show you this side, you'll know what it is, right? And this is a vegetable peeler. And the benefit of this vegetable peeler is that it catches the peelings. Pretty great for composting. We compost here, so you don't have to pick up the peels. I don't think I spend that much time picking up my peels, but yeah, let's see how neat and tidy this ends up being. Let's use our russet potato that we really couldn't successfully peel with the peeler gloves. And here we go. Oh, and it kind of is staying in there. It is a little awkward feeling, and it is catching all the peels. So all the peel is trapped inside that little box. Let's see, yeah, all right. Let's use the next potato. Yeah, so it's not catching the peels as nicely. Sometimes it doesn't really cut. This is very gimmicky. It works all right. It's not really that much of a time saver for me, but I think I'll just stick with my regular old Harp vegetable peeler. Yeah. The next little gadget I have is this one. Any idea what this might be? I found this at a Japanese supermarket. I did not find this at Daiso, but I thought I would include it with the other Japanese gadgets. So this is a rice paddle or rice scooper. It has this little flick switch here. And when you do that, those little prongs appear. And what this is used for is for washing or agitating or cleaning your rice. And then you flick it back in this direction to scoop with it. And then it has this nice like fat base, so it will stand up. But then I don't like how it feels in my hand. It kind of cuts into my hand. So Yeah, it feels a little flimsy. I do like that it has little dimples on it and it keeps the rice from sticking. And if you don't have a rice paddle that does this, incidentally, if you just dip your rice paddle in a little bit of water before scooping into the rice, you shouldn't have any sticking, which is another little tip. Interesting little gadget. All right, let's move on to our next gadget, which is this one. Any idea what this might be? Translucent plastic with little bear faces, yellow on the other side, and it opens up. So what do you think this might be? This is a rice ball shaker. So this little gadget makes mini rice balls. A bit of rice into each cavity. Next we're going to take some furikake, some little rice seasoning. This happens to be rilakkuma, which thematically works pretty well. And then we'll close it up. And then we're supposed to shake this to form the rice balls. Here we go. It worked perfectly. That's great. Look at this. We have perfect little rice balls. How stinking cute. That's great. You don't have to deal with water, sticky hands, anything. This is perfect for my little kids. I think this would be awesome because they can do it themselves. Brilliant. While I have my rice balls here, I might as well taste one. Here we go. Itadakimasu. Delicious. Love it. Of all the things so far, I'm actually going to keep this one. The next little gadget I have is this little guy. Any idea what this little friend might be for? There's a back, there's a front, feet. That might give you a little hint. This is a chopstick trainer. So this is for your kids to help them learn how to use chopsticks. This is called a chopstick friend. So you take the chopstick and you put it in the little square hole, like that. Because this is made out of silicone, it has a kind of spring-loaded action to it. The correct grip of chopsticks, you basically move the top portion of the chopstick, and this doesn't really allow for that. I would say this is not so great for actually teaching your kids how to properly hold a pair of chopsticks, but in terms of functionality, I think this is great. Kids would be able to actually use chopsticks because they're like tongs. I don't think it's something that I'm going to really be using with my kids because what I've done so far is just get them a pair of regular kid chopsticks like this and just hand them to them and just let them figure it out for themselves. I find that it gives them a little bit more independence and then I can correct them as they go along, but it's more fun that way as well. These are kids chopsticks and what's special about them is they have a little bit of texture on the end of the chopstick, so it helps them pick up things better. If by chance you want to learn how to use chopsticks, I have a little chopstick tutorial which I shall put the links here. So my very last item is this. Any idea what this cute little thing is for? This is an egg timer. And the way this works is you place this into a pan of water, cold water, along with your eggs, bring it up to a boil. This will turn white and indicate when your eggs will be soft, medium, or hard. So I was very curious to see how accurate this would be. Here are my 3 experimental eggs, labeled 1, 2, and 3, in order in which I took them out of the water. When I boil eggs, I usually bring my water up to the boil first and place my cold eggs into the water, and that way I've found that they peel really easily. So Kenji Alt Lopez over at Sears Eats has a whole breakdown of why this works, but it has to do with the very hot temperature of the water. The proteins contract and pull themselves away from the inside of the shell, making it really easy to peel. So my concern with this timer is that by bringing them slowly up to temperature, that the eggs will stick to the shell. So let's find out. So let's give this a test. Number 1 should be the soft egg. Look, it's already squirting juice out. Eesh. And indeed, it's kind of sticking to the shell. Egg is not really peeling nicely. So in this situation, when you're dealing with an egg that's not cooperating, let's try this. Take our knife, cut it through. That indeed is a very soft egg. And we'll use our spoon to scoop it out of the shell. I would say that's a very soft egg. All right, let's check out number 2, which is the medium. This one seems to be peeling a little bit better, and that probably has to do with the egg being more well cooked. All right, so here's egg number 2. Not exactly beautiful, but at least we got it out of the shell. Okay. Medium is described as you will have soft yolks with runny egg white when the color is changed to medium. Well, that is definitely more cooked than the soft. I'm gonna have to say that this, by typical US standards, would be considered soft. Next, let's do our fully cooked hard egg, which is number 3. This one, not surprisingly, peels the easiest. So the peel did stick a bit, but it definitely peeled easier than the other two. And this is supposed to be hard cooked. So that I would actually call a medium. When I ask for a hard-boiled egg, this is how I prefer it. I like it to be a little bit gelled in the middle. I don't like it when it gets too crumbly and dry, but that's just my own deal. When I poured my eggs out of the boiling water, I noticed there was a really strong plastic vinyl smell that came from this, which is a little bit worrisome in my opinion. There's no need to have plastic boiling with your eggs. If you have the proper technique and the proper time, totally can avoid that. I would say this worked pretty well, although it's a little bit seemingly undercooked in terms of what I think most people in the US would consider hard, medium, and soft. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see a whole how to boil an egg recipe. I know it sounds kind of mindless and brainless and dumb and silly, but it's not. There's actually a lot of science about how to boil an egg properly. So that concludes our little Daiso kitchen gadget testing. Let me know in the comments if there are specific gadgets you'd like to see me test out. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you guys so much for watching. Share this video with your friends. Show this video a little bit of love. And follow me on social media so you can see a little bit behind the scenes of making these videos. And yeah, I shall see you in my next video. Toodaloo, take care, bye!